Good day. Here is a rundown of the latest developments from the United States and global affairs. On Thursday, May 7th, President Donald Trump's administration imposed new sanctions against the powerful Cuban military and economic conglomerate known as GAESA, along with other key figures within Cuba's communist leadership. The United States State Department announced that these measures aim to cut off Cuba's military leadership and elites from accessing assets. GAESA, which stands for Grupo de Administración Empresarial S.A., is considered the economic arm of the Cuban military. According to expert estimations reported in United States media, GAESA controls at least 40% of the Cuban economy, including vital sectors such as tourism, financial services, retail, port logistics, and imports. The State Department has characterized GAESA as the core of a kleptocratic communist system, noting that while the Cuban population endures poverty, power outages, and crumbling infrastructure, the group's profits are reportedly transferred abroad to benefit the elite. In other news, US presidential spokesperson Karoline Leavitt has announced the birth of her second child. She wrote on the platform X that Viviana, affectionately known as Vivi, joined their family on May 1st, and their hearts immediately exploded with love. Leavitt added that the baby girl is perfect and healthy, and her older son is joyfully adjusting to life with his new little sister. The 28-year-old shared a meticulously staged photo from a pastel pink nursery holding her newborn. The background features children's books titled My First Bible, Handbags AZ, and language learning books about Washington. A framed wedding photo adorned with a pink ribbon is also visible, reinforcing the image Leavitt cultivates as a public figure on social networks, devout, family-oriented, fashion-conscious, and a staunch patriot deeply embedded in the political landscape of the United States Capitol. Leavitt concluded her post by thanking everyone who prayed for her throughout her pregnancy, stating, "I truly felt those prayers the entire time. God is good." President Trump has expressed anger over calls for peace by Pope Leo the Fourteenth regarding the Iran war, accusing the head of the Catholic Church of aligning with a country that desires nuclear weapons. Meanwhile, a meeting is scheduled for today, Thursday, between Pope Leo the Fourteenth and United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio at the Vatican, beginning at 11:30 a.m. The encounter is set against the backdrop of recent tensions between the United States-born Pope and President Trump concerning the ongoing Iran war. Separately, Republicans have introduced a bill in Congress seeking $1 billion United States dollars for security measures in a ballroom planned by President Trump. The proposed legislation allocates these funds to the Secret Service strictly for security purposes. President Trump has repeatedly stated his intention to finance the ballroom using private donations. Moving to the latest developments in the Jeffrey Epstein Scandal, a United States judge has released a document alleged to be a farewell letter from the convicted sex offender. The authenticity of this letter, however, remains unconfirmed. In the document, Epstein is reported to have written, "They investigated me for months and found nothing," and "It is a privilege to be able to choose the time of one's farewell." The letter also contained the stark phrase, "No fun. It is not worth it." Reports from the New York Times and CNN state that the document was discovered by a former cellmate and had been kept under wraps for an extended period. District Judge Kenneth Karras of the Southern District of New York ordered the letter's release following a request from the New York Times. On Wednesday, May 6th, in the same scandal, United States Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick cited memory lapses during a private Congressional committee hearing. Committee members reported that Lutnick could not explain why he and his family had lunch with Epstein on his private island in 2012. Democratic Representative Suhas Subramanyam stated that Lutnick repeatedly responded to inquiries by saying he did not remember and could not explain it himself. Republican Committee Chairman James Comer, however, defended Lutnick's testimony as understandable, suggesting Epstein had invited the family after learning they were vacationing in the nearby Virgin Islands. This 2-hour meeting on the island contradicts previous statements by Lutnick. Last year in a podcast, the former head of financial services firm Cantor Fitzgerald stated he had vowed never to be in a room with Epstein again after an incident around 2005 where Epstein, his direct neighbor in Manhattan, made a sexually suggestive remark about a massage table during a house tour. Chairman Comer acknowledged that Lutnick had not been honest about the island visit previously, adding that if it is proven he lied to Congress, he will be held accountable. Documents released by the United States Department of Justice in January had previously revealed both the island visit and an invitation from Lutnick to Epstein for a fundraiser for Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton in 2015. During a hearing on February 10th, Lutnick had downplayed his relationship with Epstein, claiming he had exchanged only about 10 emails and met him 3 times over a 14-year period. He stated, "I had hardly anything to do with this person." That concludes our news update. Thank you for tuning in. What's your take on US Sanctions Cuba, Epstein Scandal, Leavitt's baby? Share your view in the comments. Do you think this will matter in the next news cycle? This video was generated using artificial intelligence.